Hello and welcome to Hellbent Live. Let us know you can see us and hear us. We'll check the chat and then we will get started. A lot of crazy stuff to talk about today.
First off, though, I think there are a couple of tickets left for the Cryptid Campout.
I need to add that to the description. Oh, thank you, Jessica Smith. Thank you very much for seeing and heard.
Got that left. Got a few left. It's going to be my birthday next year. Anybody wants to come out, do some stuff on my birthday?
Thought you were avoiding talking about your birthday for that.
I know. Oh, well.
Yeah? Oh, well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well. So.
Joe's leaning in after 50-something years. Joe's leaning into his birthday. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be in Middle Tennessee. Once you buy your tickets and we get a little closer to the event, we'll find out where it's at. Now, this is an active research area. That's why the location is sort of secret right now. It is an active research location. There has been documented activity in the area. And with this camp out in April, you'll have the opportunity to go and hang out, have a little fellowship with all of us, Ronnie LeBlanc, and other presenters. And we actually get to go out and do field investigations out in an active research area. So we're really excited for that. We're excited to hang out with everybody. We're excited to check out that area and kind of share some of our field investigation techniques with all of you. The price of admission also includes your little cabin and everything. So it's actually a pretty good deal. I don't know how many tickets are left, but it can't be many because I know that it was quite a little blitz on that. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. We're excited for it. I know we got a bunch of hellbenders that are going to be in attendance. So we're looking forward to it. But I'll put the link in the description after the show is done. But Joe put it in the chat if you guys want to go and grab some tickets for that. All right.
Couple quick things. Okie. Thank you, my man.
Thank you, Okie.
Okie, we appreciate you. So always appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for being just such a wonderful human being. Angel Martin rejoined the memberships.
Thank you, Angel.
Angel, thank you for coming back in to support us. And if you guys find what we do interesting and you think that Hellbent Holler is cool, you like the way we do things, please consider joining the membership program. We are currently under a bad shadow ban with YouTube right now, real bad. So we can use all the support we can get right now. For people who are willing to become holler ballers or paladins on our membership, you get executive producer and producer credits. So think about doing that if you have the means. Nobody go hungry supporting a couple of weird paranormal investigators, though. But if you have the means to comfortably do it, please consider it. We could use your help right now.
But everything from the membership supports the project. Joe and I have regular jobs that we do.
Oh, boy, do we ever.
Boy, do we ever. Yeah. And it's Halloween week. So my regular job is going to be insane. So looking forward to that. I get to dress up. I have to dress up. So I'm actually going to be the Crow this year. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So I get to dress up and everything for Halloween. But yeah, so our memberships support the project. That's what that goes towards. Equipment, travel, everything like that. The equipment is the main thing. That's the big kahuna when it comes to this, the cameras, replacing batteries, all that stuff. So all of that supports the project. And we are 100% viewer funded for that. That way we are not in the pocket of
corporate Bigfoot.
Corporate Bigfoot, as Joe likes to say. So, yeah, that's the spiel on that. With that, you also get extra content, ad-free 4K versions of every one of our releases. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. And then we also have members-only live streams that we do on a regular basis.
Lady Wolf didn't expect to see you tonight. Lady Wolf's getting ready for the fur baby.
The fur baby? Yeah.
But, like I said, yeah, we have been having some copyright problems with people trying to steal our content. And in the course of fighting that, we are somehow banned on, not banned, you're obviously seeing us, but A lot of our stuff is being kind of suppressed for some reason.
There's
right
a lot
now.
of weird stuff.
A lot of weird stuff going on. So,
and I know that our channel kind of tackles some strange topics from time to time, so that might be part of it. But it's awful strange that this copyright stuff has gone through and had a surprising result. So, so we're just going to kind of ride that wave, go through that storm, and hopefully everything will be right. I swear to you, every time I do this show, I have an errant hair. There it goes. It's a cat hair.
An errant hair.
It's a cat hair. Of course. My life is cat hair. But yeah, so we released a video last night. Normally we do the show on Mondays, and we have moved the show to these Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. because we're doing some investigations that are rolling over. So we need those blocks of time. So we've moved our regular show, this show that you're watching right now, to Tuesdays. But yesterday we released something very special for Hellbent Halloween. We released a Banana Town investigation. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. I hope you all have seen that. And if you guys were not joining us last night for the members exclusive discussion after, then you guys can throw some questions at that. And we can have a little talk about that.
Amy's talking about
because it's a lot to talk about.
Brown on Truth Tellers. Now, what we ran into is there's a lot of those like top 10 scariest channels, all that crazy nonsense, which is fine if people watch that. But we actually let our footage get used on one of them. And I can't remember who that was, but he actually reached out to us.
Yeah, he emailed us and asked us for permission to use it. He used the Brown Mountain Lights footage, which that's the one they tend to use the most.
Yeah. So, but he was very respectful and asked for permission. So we gave them permission, and he was cool. And that was very nice. Then he thanked us afterwards, but a lot of them just take it without asking. And the thing is with this is that this is where all of our spare money goes to. This is where all of our spare time goes to. It's kind of dangerous sometimes. It's really dangerous sometimes. It has a huge impact on our personal lives. And the last one that we were fighting with is just somebody in like the Philippines that has like 8 different like channels that they use AI to do and make money off of. And it's the principle with us. Well, somebody's making money off of something that we're spending all of our money on. So we're in the process of fighting that, and in the process and doing that somehow we've become very shadow banned. It's just our stuff's not getting out to where it needs to. You can't speak to people anymore at YouTube. It's all AI. But anyway, so we're gonna be cool. But if you are ever thinking about supporting the channel, then there'll be a good time to do it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying we could use it. So we need to sell pencils in little tin cups. Pencil for you, sir. Pencil, sir.
What is that?
What is that reference? That's one of those things that like they do in like Oliver Twist and stuff like that, man. You know, on the streets of Victorian London.
We're in some chimney sweep situations.
Well, you know, I would wish I could be a chimney sweep. I wouldn't be out here selling these pencils.
What a day!
What a day! Oh, to be a chimney sweep.
To be a chimney sweep.
To be a chimney sweep.
Kim said that a lot of people are setting up their own websites under a paywall.
Hey, you might see that eventually.
That eventually might happen.
You might see that eventually. We would be able to get crazy with it, and we wouldn't spend a lot of time just on nonsense.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Ancillary nonsense. City Witch suggests that everyone share the most recent video to friends you think you would like it. Do that with any of our videos. Anything that we have, share it to anyone you think would be interested in it, because that's how we introduce people to all the stuff that we do. We bring in more people, new ideas.
Latest video is real. The investigation was great. Jesse did a freaking bang up job editing it, putting it together, really taking like pure chaos, which we'll get into, and kind of presenting it into something that's understandable. But it's not going out to like people that are into cryptid and paranormal stuff.
Right. It's
going out to people that are like soccer fans and stuff like that. It's just not. And I'm going, what happened here, man? Usually our stuff kind of goes to the people that need to see it, but I digress. Anyway, we got a couple generous souls here. One of which is
Curtis Whitaker. Curtis don't hurt us.
Our boy Curtis. We got to get Curtis that t-shirt. Curtis don't hurt us.
I'm doing it.
He's in the email. I told you I was talking to him the other day. Hell of a nice guy.
Chris
Lockhart, thank you so much. Love you guys. Screw you. So anyway, what else you got? Moving on. Thank you both for that. Thank you. You all are
you started a firestorm of people asking, what is a shadow ban? Why shadow
ban is when you are still on the platform. Nobody sees your stuff.
Yeah.
They don't delete you. They don't, but for all practical purposes, you might as well not exist.
KM Kosler, welcome to the membership.
Welcome to the memberships. Thank you.
Greg DeHunter's in here.
Greg DeHunter, we got celebrity in here.
We did.
I was talking to Stingray, Count York earlier today. But anyway, so we'll get past that. So I'm hoping everybody has got set up for a great Halloween.
Yeah.
Bonnie Blue McGee wants to know if you will post a picture of your Halloween costume.
I will get somebody to take a picture of me. I'll be working. Like, it's going to be a 13-hour shift. So we'll see how that goes. In leather pants. So.
Oh, LW and them are coming to the thing.
Awesome.
Awesome.
That will be awesome.
Our buddy LW Marshall is going to be doing a Halloween special on a show. We will share that out. Jessie has got a great story that she contributed. So,
a good little witch story. A witch tale, as it were.
Yes, indeed. So,
yeah. So, if you'll hit that, then we're going to go into talking about this episode that we dropped last night, because it was a doozy. It was a wild and wicked one, huh?
So we went over this a little bit last night.
Yeah.
But I
want to say that the standout quote from the episode, the video that we dropped, was "Deers don't have hands."
Yes. Yes, that was the
Deers don't have hands.
Deers don't have hands.
Can't you understand, man?
So, I'm all the way back to where I started talking about pencils.
That's all right. I'm fixing something with our chat right now because we've got a little issue. There we go. Done. Just keep moving.
All right, we're going.
Keep moving, please.
Chat's going bananas. So we had an investigation we were working on, and we were approached with a very insane sounding case that a family was going through at that moment. And we allude to that to a certain degree in the beginning of this video. That was a family that we're all over the place tonight, man. You have to bear this. Halloween, we're always exhausted. Was a family in a very rural's not the word, because when I hear rural, I think like farms and stuff like this. A very sparsely populated, heavily wooded, that sounds good, area. And the lady who contacted us said that they had a wolf man coming out of the woods. And which was weird, because normally we hear werewolf. People outside the cryptid community don't use the term dogman for anything, but wolfman. And I'm going, and I even had a thought when we were originally contacting her. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it is near Halloween. The Wolfman's probably on TV. And they saw this, and that's what sparked it. You know what I'm saying? So you
think that placed the thought in someone's head?
Well, I think the terminology in somebody's head.
The terminology.
They used to call it that.
Because you think about this, if you look back at when Boggy Creek was released. Yeah. So you think about when Boggy Creek was released, it seems like there was an uptick in Sasquatch sightings.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think
directly after that.
I don't think that had anything to do with that. I thought that might be why they chose the term Wolfman, because that's not something you hear every day doing what we do. It's usually monster. I don't know what I saw. I think it's a Bigfoot, werewolf, if they got a good look at it. Yeah. I rarely hear Wolfman. And I don't know, that just seemed weird to me. But so we quickly switched gears, and we went and we did a little scouting mission down there. Very wooded area, very old area. We found some family cemetery plot that was buried deep in the woods in this one area that had just kind of been, looked like maybe somebody once upon a time had done a little, maintenance on it, but it's just definitely not something that people are visiting on the regular. Some of the stones were basically just roughly shaped like river rocks, and that old cemeteries go hand in hand with a lot of dogman lore. So we were going, if a dogman is coming out of the woods, hassling a family, this is going to be where it's going to happen at. Right. So
And so what ties that Dogman lore to these cemeteries, these liminal spaces? I mean, you can go back in folklore and see a lot of examples of that prior to what we could refer to as maybe the American Dogman pop culture flap, basically. You know, a lot of people would say that they really had never heard of anything like a Dogman up until the past few years, when there was the popularity of the story of the LBL started coming into the zeitgeist, and people started discussing that, and we started investigating that. Dogman was not really something that was something that was very prevalent, but I think it's that term perhaps wasn't prevalent, but the phenomenon itself was has been for a very long time.
Kicking a long time. I mean, you go into Western European folklore, you have so many names. It seems like, especially in the United Kingdom, every county had their own individual spectral, like hellhound, black dog kind of like entity at that point. And it's, if you look at the recorded, if you take like a 10,000 foot view of like all of this, and you look down and you really look at like the black dog phenomenon, what people were reporting. Now, being hassled, running across these creatures that caused a great deal of fear, even more than what you would expect running across a creature like that. The association with cemeteries, the association with liminal spaces, the sometimes telepathic communication that seemed to take place, the feeling of dread and all of that. And it seems like those intimidation encounters happened more frequently than physical attacks. And that was the case with, let's just call it the black dog phenomenon. And that's also the case with the modern Dogman phenomenon. A lot of times people are terrified and they don't know why it didn't attack them, but it had every opportunity to, it just didn't. It seems like its whole purpose was to cause fear, was to cause intimidation, was to basically just like psychically ruin you because you've seen something that just completely rips away your foundations of reality. And other times it might attack, and maybe those people aren't around to tell the story. So you have some survivor's bias, that the ones who could tell you of violent encounters aren't around to tell the tale anymore. But the thing is that they used to call it by those different names as opposed to Dogman. The term Dogman's obviously, you know, it's a modern invention that came about probably with that Michigan Dogman story, like song that was played. We're not going to rehash all that, but but it's been going on, and a lot of the things that this family was reporting matched up with the lore, and we were stoked. So and I'll be honest with you, part of the reason we were stoked is it's a crazy case. We were excited for it. What perfect timing. It's around Halloween. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like the universe was smiling upon us for once. Do you know what I'm saying?
Correct.
What was it? 6 weeks ago, we're sitting here begging the universe to send us a Dogman case. Send us Dogman cases.
Did we do that?
Yeah, we did.
We did that on the show, didn't we? We were basically
on the
like,
live stream.
We were basically, there's no Dogman cases.
So we get a crazy Dogman case. So we literally uproot from what we're working on, which may have been a mistake. And
because we were in the midst of a case that was pretty pure Bigfoot from what we can tell.
Scary Bigfoot, but
there was aggressive encounters. There was very aggressive encounters. However, it was pretty purely Bigfoot. And you almost had your wish for once of us doing some pretty purely Bigfoot stuff.
But does Joe ever get what Joe wants in life, especially when the paranormal is involved? Hell no, he doesn't.
Joe is just pawn in game of life.
Joe is a pawn in the game of life. So we went down there. We got up all these plans. We had gone down and scouted the area without really telling the witness that we were coming down, just so we could kind of get an idea of what was going on down there. And then talking to her, the plan was we were going to go on the family property. Family was going to talk to us. We had a base of operations, blah, 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 blah. Then bam, the rug gets pulled out from underneath us. She basically tells us after the last minute that they don't want anything to do with this, that the grandmother, and I always have to back this up. This was a grown woman we were talking to. Her grandmother's still alive. So
yeah,
the grandmother was like, absolutely not. You know, if you talk about this thing, you're going to make it worse. You're going to draw it out. You're going to increase the activity.
And
although they weren't using those words, it was basically like, it's going to
set its eye upon you.
It's going to kill the livestock. It's going to kill us all. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we need to, if we leave it alone, eventually it'll move on. And eventually this will like stop. But
that's a common refrain in Southern Appalachia is if you give attention to whatever this is, then it'll get worse.
If you name it, it will come. So
sort of out of sight, out of mind, it'll carry on and pay no more attention to you.
Our buddy PCX, Pork Chop Express. Pickled meats for trick-or-treats. You're getting Vienna sausages for Halloween there, buddy.
I tell you what, let's take an aside here. Normally, I like a good Big Mama sausage or a Tijuana Mama if I'm feeling extra spicy. The other day, I had a Hannah's pickled sausage. Let me tell you, that was chef's kiss. The Hannah's brand pickled sausage, quite good. Not quite as big as the Tijuana Mama, but in terms of flavor, beyond. Carry on.
People always talk about how young you look for your age, and I'm wondering if it is the preservatives and all of these bizarre pickled meats that you cram into your stomach that can't be natural. Anyway, so the family's concerns. We'll get this out of the way. Whether it's legit or not in our minds, if this is a legitimate concern, it doesn't really matter because we're going to leave and they're still going to be there. You know what I'm saying? And two, we don't want to get a reputation for being a-holes when we do this.
And Hawk talked a little bit about this last night. I don't know if Hawk is in here tonight, but we were having a discussion last night and Hawk brought it up that's why that is the exact reason he doesn't allow just anyone to come to his property or to where he has his experiences, because at the end of the day, he has to stay there and they do not. And that's the thing. When you do this kind of work, when you are looking into Bigfoot, Dogman, cryptids, anything like that, you've got a whole sphere of people who are looking for witnesses, looking for stories, especially if you do something where you're telling these stories. You're always looking for new ones. And you don't want to have someone who's looking for that story and then they get the story, wham, bam, thank you, man, and then they move on. Because then you leave your witness without any continuing support, I guess you could say, after the fact of what it is. And we don't want to be those people. We don't want to be those people that are like, okay, tell me your encounter. I'll interview you. We'll investigate it. Something happens, nothing happens, whatever. And then we just move on. Because there's no resolution. There's nothing for these people who are living in this situation, who are experiencing this on a regular basis. There's no continued support for that. And we don't want to be those people. We don't want to do that.
You don't know what grinds my gears, though? When these cases get out and they're kind of semi-public.
Okay.
And the feeding frenzy that happens. You know what I'm saying?
MK told us that after finding Bigfoot, went to the URIs for one of those early episodes, and they did some weird stuff out there, like hanging CDs in the trees and all of that. There was this weird, like, descent of people onto the URIs, and the hiking groups and everybody cleaning up out there were finding CDs hanging from all the trees, peanut butter jars everywhere, and it was just this unintended consequences and these ripple effects of what happens when the general public decides to join in the fun and start doing that, but they don't do it in a responsible manner. What were you talking about?
Not the general public, like cryptid channels and podcasters and people who are trying to make a name for themselves.
The land between the legs?
Because I'm still salty. Somebody had reached out to us about a Dogman case in the area. It's pretty damn close to us. I don't think I ever told you the full story on it. Because I just got ticked off and moved on. But and they were like, hey, this person needs help, da 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 da. And I'm always very upfront and honest. And I'm like, short of going there and validating what's happening to them, I don't know what you expect us to do. You know what I'm saying? People can make bold claims about being able to go in and like chase some of this stuff off.
Eradication of the dog.
I ain't seen it happen yet. This stuff is beyond people. But anyway,
number one, you don't know what you're dealing with. You don't know what is the eradication process. You're not you're not Bigfoot and Dogman, like, you're not exterminators.
I'm going to be after this idea has been planted.
That's not like you call, like, blast a dog or something like that. I don't know. That's my marketing brain is not working for that.
Let's not call it blast a dog. Hi, it's Joe from Blast a Dog here.
I didn't make that call.
God. Anyway, Pyromedics in the chat. Pyromedics, one of our Hollow Baller executive producers, keeping the wheels running. But no, we got an offer we actually asked to come because someone was dealing with quote unquote dogman activity on their property, and other people heard about it and it became a feeding frenzy.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, well, you got somebody else. I really don't need to bother with this. Sounds cool, but I don't lower myself to jostle for position for stuff like that. But what's even funnier is then the dude who ended up doing it, like a week later, is like messaging me asking for like advice, and I'm like, "You got this, big baller? Come on now, man! You got this, big papa." So, man, we're all over the damn place. Anyway, so the family didn't want us to come there, kind of beyond the last minute. You know what I'm saying? And I understand why. You know what I'm saying? I'm disappointed nonetheless, but we didn't have access to their property like we were going to have. So we had to start, but the case is still crazy. So we start digging down there. And that's why this investigation was so bizarre, because when we first got the call about the activity, we did some cursory exploration. We basically focused on that immediate area, went down there and kind of scouted it out. When we were forced to kind of like start to adapt is when some of this other stuff started to jump out at us. And
we often pride ourselves in our ability to kind of stick and move and turn on a dime. And when we're presented with something new in a case, we can adapt to it. We can kind of take this new information and move forward with it. But it seems like the presentation of new information with this case was at a machine gun rate. It was faster than we could possibly process. And there was a real challenge with how do we approach all of this? And then how do we approach all of this in a way that makes sense?
Because we had a real hard time with it, because every time we thought we had a grip on the area, something else would come up in our research for it. I've got to say, as far as like any place we've ever looked at, this place was like the proverbial anthill you just kicked.
Right.
And what made it even more difficult is because when we spoke to the original witness and she kind of backed out, I went, well, we're still going to look into this. That's not going to cause you any problems. We won't be on your property. We don't trespass. I live in the South, man. I don't want to get shot. But then we felt an obligation to kind of like even be more secretive about the location than we normally would have been, because we don't want it to look like we're causing problems. And I'll be honest with you, I wish we had just stumbled upon this place ourselves, and we didn't walk into it with like one hand tied behind our back at that point, because that's how I felt the entire time. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
And it was frustrating as hell.
As a result of all of this too, we did for this video, for this whole thing, we did 3 night investigations. There's 3 night investigations included on that. There were day investigations, but not a lot happened with that. So I wanted to really present this in a really concise way. We are going to return to that place, but I think we're going to let things settle down for a bit. And I think we need to, because there was such a strange attachment and heavy presence with that area. I think we need to personally step away from that as well.
We argued like cats and dogs out there. It's crazy. But
you can even see in the video itself that Joe and I are we're at like 11 for a lot of that. And we're even like at 11 with each other for that. And I'm not comfortable with us being that way because we do rely on each other in the woods and we can't be adversaries at any point in time. And if you have ever experienced any kind of paranormal activity or haunting that's malicious in any kind of way, you'll know that if you're experiencing it with another person, sometimes it can pitch you against who you're with. And that is not good, especially when it begins to seep through those cracks and starts to take advantage of that. So I think that, people have asked, and I have a couple of chats marked on this too, if we're going to actually go back there and investigate this area again. I think we will. But I think we need to let the cosmic dust settle a little bit before we go out there and do that again. I think we need to get some distance from that area for sure.
Well,
and if we do return to that area, I don't think we're going to share a lot of that stuff publicly because there has been quite a bit of backlash in reference to this investigation as well because of all the elements involved in it. I don't think the general public is ready for this kind of stuff or for us to dig into this kind of stuff in a real and meaningful way.
All right. So real quick, let me get this. Our buddy LW.
Go ahead.
Dogman, a creature as it is. Werewolf man changes into wolf. Wolf man, part wolf, right? I don't know. I always, at this point, when we're dealing with like witnesses, especially people who are not really involved in the online cryptid community or people who aren't from the get-go, I looked into some stuff. Have you guys ever heard of a dogman before?
The terminology can muddy.
But werewolf we hear pretty consistently when we're talking to people. As consistently as you hear anything in this stuff. Wolfman was new. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of new. But when we looked into this area and because what we're doing is there were some areas we wanted to get into, but we needed to do it without crossing private property. And there's some there's some state land there. There's some other public property there. But it's oddly laid out. Either it was acquired in an odd manner or some of it's been sold off once upon a time. We're still in the process of digging through that. But we just kept finding weird things out. I've never seen an area that there's more like local lore about. You hear ghost stories from that area, from people who are in that area around that spot all the freaking time.
Yeah.
Cult activity, like satanic activity, that's one of the things that ticks somebody off today because you said that the mirror looked like witchcraft. And we talked about
satanic activity. And
I had some Wiccans that were literally, you didn't explain that to them. They were going to come burn me at the stake. So we kept finding accounts.
We call that the Salem reverse Uno card.
The reverse Uno card. But we keep finding like stories out there, and we're finding like online accounts of different stuff. Jesse kind of clipped a couple of them that we found from like several years ago, online where people were talking about it. And some of the stuff they were claiming was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things is that this family was at this church we kept hearing about. And the dad came out of the church and ran face first into something's chest and looked up and it breathed down into his face. And we found a couple of accounts like that. And nobody's ever calling it a Bigfoot. Nobody's ever calling it a wolf man or whatever the hell you want to call it. It's just that if you know it's in those woods, and you know to stay out. And we've never heard anywhere it's just repeated over and over and over again. Stay out of those woods, stay out of those woods, stay out of those woods, stay out of those woods. But here's the deal. When people start retelling scary stories, either things that happened to themselves or things that they heard from somebody else, weird elements get included because people feel that it kind of backs up the story, right? Yeah. And the example I used is that when people are ghost hunting in Gettysburg battlefield, well, they kind of, posit that the deaths that happened there and the battle might have something to do with the paranormal activity. And if you're doing a Gettysburg investigation, well, you mention that because it's probably very, very relevant to the activity that's going on. why in the hell did nobody mention this giant unmarked like gravesite, like these graves out there? I'm going, that would be like the first thing that if I was telling a story of something that happened to me out there, I'd go, and it's near that spot, and that's where we were going. I was going, somebody know about this? I mean, somebody's got to know about it. Why is it not?
Oh, you need to know also that you've been corrected on that. It's not a mass grave.
Call it whatever the hell I want to. Just grown-ass man.
Grown-ass man.
Grown-ass man. So
we need like I think we need like a sign on a stick that says grown-ass man.
Grown-ass man.
When you're using your grown-ass man card.
Yeah. Our buddy Grizz, real quick, says, howdy, just saw 2 wogs this evening.
I've got a bunch of stuff.
Grizz, I will reach out to you. But my thing is this, is that we've done some, we're still doing research into there. We're still a little confused on some stuff.
I'm confused on some timelines, some details.
I'm confused on a lot of details.
Like experiences.
None of this seems to add up when I'm like looking at a couple other things here. Our buddy Rick Skinner.
Thank you, Rick.
For the Pickled Meat Fund.
I got a bunch of stuff.
And then our man Ken Lucas. Dear, however, can tap dance. And then H. Smith for the Hellbent Candy Bowl. Gracias. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We're doing leftover chili tonight.
We're doing leftover chili. Joseph, as always, thank you all for the hard work. Thank you guys for the support, man. We are immensely.
I know that we're just excited that this whole investigation is
over for a while.
For now.
Because here's the thing: is that it's one point we're going the lore here is leading us in so many damn different directions. How do we?
It certainly rocked us back on our heels to the point that we couldn't really get a grip on
how to explain this to people.
Yeah. And then there was so much that occurred during all of these investigations. If you'll see, okay, so the video is about an hour long and we find weird thing after weird thing after weird thing. We had multi-hour, these were like many hours on each investigation. I just edited it down to where
these were all night
all together,
investigations.
because there was no way I was breaking this into 2 videos. There was no way, because there's something I've got such a bad energy and feeling from this whole area, this whole investigation. The residual effects of this investigation are with us to this day. So I'm to the point right now where I wanted to do this
and just get it over.
We had to share this, but we wanted to be done with it. So I edited it all together, and it was just like machine gun fire. It was a blitz of weird stuff that we encountered, we experienced, and then that vocalization. One of my favorite things, we discussed this last night, one of my favorite things about that vocalization at the end, and we're going to definitely talk about them. Somebody said it sounded like a whale because it was so deep and so...
Not a whale, like a painful, mournful whale.
But like a
what? Let me see the whale impersonation.
Ooh.
Okay.
Fun fact about me: when I was in kindergarten and we would go lay down for nap time, I would
run. I bet that was a droid trying to get you to lay down for nap time. So
I would run to where we had the little tapes and like the little Walkmans, and I would listen to the whale sounds.
You listen to whale calls? I find whale songs very creepy.
I loved whale sounds. I found it that whale sounds are one of the most relaxing things to me. However,
I find them very disturbing.
Okay.
I find them very disturbing. So
there you have it. There's Hellbent Holler's official stance on whale sounds.
But we just wanted to be done with it. You know what I'm saying? Which is weird because of so much stuff going on in that area. And then at the time we're worried about, like, are we going to take these, this family off? Like the lady, we had a pretty good, and everything's still fine. We might even get a message after the show. I don't know. But we're going to keep looking into it, but it was just, it was exhausting, man.
And I think we need to kind of let Halloween kind of shake off a little bit too. Yeah. We've got so much cool Bigfoot stuff coming up and so many cool investigations we've got coming up in different areas and, remote wildernesses in South Carolina, Georgia, and North Carolina. I think we need to step back from the occult here.
Well, we didn't expect to get into the occult here. It's just... the rumors were a lot of rumors. I don't even call them rumors. There's an old church out there that's been abandoned for like a while, and a group bought the property and the church, and they started to do ritualistic activity in there. And you got a thing like when you're dealing with folklore, it's called friend of a friend lore. You know what I'm saying? I know my brother knows somebody, you know, my cousin's next door neighbor, you know what I'm saying? It's always like kind of a very like weird, shaky kind of connection from the person telling the story to the actual root of the story itself. These were not that. These were like I just boldly and confidently stated first person accounts of like what went on out there. And we're not even quite sure how that situation came to an end. And we're just going to leave it at that. I don't know quite how that got resolved. I just don't know. Might have just been they couldn't pay their taxes. I don't know. But somehow that situation came to an end. And we weren't, and I guess at this point, you got to just admit that some of these phenomena just go hand in hand with like the darker stuff, you know? And if you get a case that maybe you think that's not the case, you just need to scratch the surface a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you figure out that no, it's been weird like that and dark like that all the time. So, see what else we got here.
I've got some.
Roberta Newman.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Roberta. Y'all take care of each other out there. If it starts to put you at serious odds with each other, you're already compromised, need to retreat. Love you and I appreciate all your help. Happy Halloween.
And someone asked right prior to Roberta's super chat if we felt that was imposed from the outside. The way Joe and I have been married, we've been together for 13 years. 13 years?
I'd say probably closer to 50.
50 years. We've been together for 13 years. He's my best friend. He's my partner and everything. And, you know, we get frustrated with each other because we are together a lot. But this was different. This was very strange.
You can pick up on it. We got snap at each other even when we found the mass grave. We're kind of starting to like just go, how did you not know about this? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, and it's starting to kind of come across.
It's very out of character.
And again, I got to say, we're used to finding weird stuff. We're used to coming across weird stuff we didn't expect. You don't expect to come across something like that. And and I've heard all sorts of theories. I've heard that these were graves that were maybe relocated, and that might be it. I don't know at this point. I don't know. I can just tell you that normally, even like decent sized family cemeteries are on one of my main maps, GPS maps that I use.
Yeah. We have cemeteries that we can't find on any other maps, but you have one of those older maps that's loaded into your GPS. And that's how we found some cemeteries that nobody knew about.
But this one, you ain't got nothing in it, man. And I'm going, why is this not here? Because that's just something you would expect to hear with all these stories. I would expect that to figure into any scary story within like miles of that area. You know what I'm saying? Anything in those woods through there, I would expect that to be mentioned as a possible cause or just to up the creepy factor when people are trying to tell you this stuff. And it was just weird, man. It's just weird. But so we kept doing it. We found some interesting things.
Reverend PC, this is just a little update on that graveyard. I found those grave markers still for sale online. They're not cheap either. Very expensive. I don't know.
Well, you know, they weren't in good condition. I mean, they weren't like 200 years old, obviously. You know, they're made in, you know, I'm assuming post World War II. I don't know how long. That area is weird because a lot of there's old carriage roads, old cart roads all through that area, crisscrossing through there that are overgrown. But a lot of that land was cleared. And then I guess when it became public or was bought, because there are some very large private tracts of land out there, that it became forested once more.
Yeah.
So and then you'll be in like a pretty fairly new growth stretch of woods, and then you find some really old singular like trees out there that were probably decorative or whatever when somebody was living there or providing shade or doing something like that. But it's so bananas through there.
We found, you know, in Blackthorn, little side note about the vegetation and the plants out there. In Blackthorn, we've actually come across ornamental plants that were used at those old plantations as like ornamental plants, like you've got those cactuses and a couple different things, but we found those cactuses out there, and I was like, why are these cactuses out here? And I looked into the history of the area, and it turns out during that era, the plant people that lived out in those plantations, they would have those cactuses as like an exotic ornamental plant, little plant around their house.
Moondog Davis is in the chat. Moondog, how are you, sir?
HGMC asked, do y'all ever have dreams about places you've investigated? We do. I definitely do. I have insane dreams.
We have not slept well since this investigation.
No.
Like, we have been like waking up at like odd times. I don't know whether you tie this in with the not sleeping well or just the cat's acting weird, but we've woken up with like the cat sitting on the bed, just staring into this. I'm not exaggerating. I don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah.
But we have not slept very well since then. It's been, we're usually tired after a big investigation that stretches for a while, but this one we're kind of carrying the lingering effects.
And I think it's important to, it's something that we always do, is we want to push the envelope with what we do, and we want to do anything we can to kind of get as close as we can. Little Icarus wants to fly so close to the sun.
Yeah.
But you got to make sure your wings don't burn up. And I think that part of this investigation, as I kind of reflect on the whole thing, is that we need to be a little more careful about some of the things that we do. And I think that, we push very hard when it comes to this stuff, but in terms of spiritual protection, I think we need to be a little more.
Well, but here's the deal. You run the risk of, if you're too spiritually protected, you push a lot of this activity away. The whole goal is to document stuff.
The whole goal is to document.
That's why we stopped wearing like protective like stuff and carrying that holy water.
But you have to walk a fine line, because if we're put at odds with one another, or we're put into some sort of spiritual dire straits, how do we continue the work that we want to do?
Well, listen,
perhaps we document something, but then at what cost? I'm usually the one that is full tilt boogie crazy going forward, but I've dealt with some of the weird effects of some of this stuff.
Listen,
and I'm not a fan.
We're going to take some losses doing this.
What?
Okay? Not everybody's going to make it back at the end of the day. Okay. I've come to grips with that.
I was waiting for
that. We're going to have some losses doing this. Okay.
Uh-huh.
That's just something that, it's something you got to come to grips with, that,
you guys tune in next week to Grown Ass Man's Paranormal Potluck.
Think about me, because I got to walk back alone through a lot of those creepy woods and stuff like that, man. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. You have to kind of walk a fine line with it. And I definitely don't, I don't know, man. You're looking for the stuff. When the stuff comes around, you have to almost treat it like a home laboratory, and you got it going on in your house now. You don't have to go out in the woods and look for it. Man, wouldn't it be awesome if we could just like investigate in the living room and just sit there and go, all right, guys, well, let's see what's going to happen tonight.
We probably could with all the stuff I have here. Yeah.
I'm still waiting for that all-inclusive resort to contact us and go, we got some weird stuff coming on. We'd like you guys to come down for
the specter of the sandals.
Yes.
The sandal specter.
Our cabana boy keeps hearing some strange noises. We'd like you to come down and check it out. Anyway, so we could
paranormal pina coladas,
because we're pretty damn relieved to be over and done with this.
Yeah,
I'm like I said, I'm tired after all that. It was mentally exhausting. It's
crazy too, because you and I have done some really crazy paranormal stuff. We've gone to some highly charged areas. We did Corpsewood Manor.
Yeah.
We've done Corpsewood Manor, and we didn't have what we've had happen with this, which I think is very, very interesting and a little off-putting. Not a little, a lot.
I mean, I wasn't like physically tired, although that was part of it. It's just like the the information wouldn't stop coming that just made it weirder and weirder. And then we just, at one point we were like, we really wish we hadn't gotten involved in this right now.
Yeah.
We really wish that we had just backed away from it and just stayed on with our original investigation we were going to do, and then came back to this later. But we originally got involved with it because it was ongoing activity that was happening right then. And then we got down there and we were intrigued by how weird the place was. And then we got more intrigued and more intrigued and more intrigued. But there was a point where I was just like, this was a mistake. This is just too,
I've made a terrible
mistake. It's just too complicated. And we're getting like trying to follow these like accounts in the area. And they're just so all over the damn place.
Yeah.
And some of it we can't talk about because we have an obligation to the people that originally contacted us. Like I said, it would have been so much easier if we had just stumbled across that place, not known anybody, and gone on there and then just started to learn all this organically. And then just, and anyway.
Cryptid Castleberry has an interesting follow-up to this. He says, have you ever dreamed about locations before you knew you were going to investigate them? I actually dreamed about, just talking about Corpsewood Manor. I actually dreamed about Corpsewood Manor before we went and investigated that. I saw the buildings, I saw the walls, and then I saw going into the main structure of the house. And I didn't know what I was dreaming about until we actually were there and walking through. But yeah, I dreamed about that. Of note, I don't know. My dreams are very crazy and like very intense sometimes. I have like night terrors sometimes too, which Joe really enjoys my night terrors.
But Chris asked, you guys didn't bring any items back with you like a rock or anything, did you?
Absolutely not.
For once, no. Nope. Even that weird bone we found, and Chris identified that. I don't know if you saw
the armadillo. Yeah,
armadillo. Yeah. Like, what the hell? I mean, they're spreading out. It's just, it's not like, I'm trying to think of a place that doesn't have armadillos. Alaska? Alaska. I'm assuming not. It's not like we were in Alaska and we found an armadillo.
I think the safe bet for saying about any kind of animal other than a penguin, you'd say Antarctica.
So
just stick with Antarctica.
But it's a weird thing to find. And even then we didn't bring that with us. So physically we didn't bring anything back for once. We did not bring anything. But
we have been in some of the scariest places in the southern United States. We have been in some of the most dangerous places in the southern United States. I was going to take a rock out of the Bell Witch Cave. Something is so dark and so evil and so charged about this location that it's personally rattled my cage. The only other place I can think of that kind of shook us up this bad was Panther Town.
Yeah.
Which another parallel to Panther Town, you found what appeared to be some sort of stick cliff in our path.
Yeah,
we were going down through there.
And I was hesitant to even like put that in the video because it's not the most dramatic thing you've ever seen. But if you really look at it and you think about, where did it fall from? That's a pine like right above it. Falls, it breaks. That was arranged, man. I stand by. I can't say that was like, I don't know. Because you don't want to get like goofy like this and just start seeing stuff behind every like bush and every like. The one rock was weird, definitely laying on the grass. You know what I'm saying? And it was kind of in a weird. And then the other rock we found that was on the edge of that one tomb, I guess you call it, the kid's tomb. And then, but the stick was just weird to me. It looked like it had been arranged and placed like that. I just can't see how that would, and that's such a subtle thing, but damn, it jumped out at me, man. It just jumped out at me. As soon as I looked at it, I was going.
I feel like this investigation was like a Stefan sketch from SNL. It's like, we've got satanic cults. We've got a haunted graveyard.
Yeah. Lady Wolf, did you notice this ramped up once you stopped carrying the salt? We don't carry anything with us nowadays.
Not
salt,
anymore. No.
Nothing at all. Because it was pushing back. It was pushing back what was weird, and what the weird is what we're after. Turdog asks, when will we see the new and improved podcast studio? Everything's still in chaos from the roof coming down. We're gonna roll this.
Move everything in there. And
we're gonna roll this till after Halloween. Yeah. You might see this on the Monday or the Tuesday after Halloween. Yeah. But then we're gonna start trying to
get everything moved.
Because if this had happened in the beginning of summer, we would have been in so much better position.
Yeah.
Because now it's like the busy time of year for us. You know what I'm saying? It's busy. It's like it's on now.
It's busy with the cases. It's busy with our jobs and everything.
Yeah, but it's on now. It's like nonstop, no
constructing
sleep.
a studios. We're doing okay in the parlor right now, but we'll have to find time to construct a studio.
Because when we put a Christmas tree up, I'd like to put a Christmas tree up this year. And this is where we're going to put it at. So we got to get it done.
Joe sounds like a grown-ass man who needs a vacation.
I do need a freaking vacation. Ventus Bruma. As far as issues go, I noticed you both kept touching odd things in the forest and wondering after if you should have. Just a question. Did you feel compelled to do any of that?
I touch everything.
She touches everything. Was I touching stuff? I didn't even know.
You grabbed that bone, which was bizarre. It was bizarre behavior from you. You had a lot of bizarre behavior. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm always bizarre because I'm a Tylenol baby. But you know what I'm saying? Like, so funny.
I'm just trying not to make a joke about grabbing the bone because we're already in trouble with YouTube. And that would be the final nail in the coffin, I think. So, but Jessie always touches stuff. She gets into this weird communing with everything. I'm usually not like that. And I guess I was kind of. Yeah.
Oh, you went right for it. And I was like, you were like, you'll take it with you or something like that. And I said, no, put it back. Like, it's like we sort of changed roles in which we tend to do. It was very odd. It was very odd. And I think a lot of people commented on here too, and they were kind of talking about we were very off. I think Becca noticed that something was very strange about our behavior, how we were reacting to things, our interactions. I agree 100%.
Thank you for that, by the way. Sarge had asked this before, and I meant to address that. Anybody else hear a hum during the daytime portion? If you're talking about before we found that pit, that is like
right around the pit.
That is like an ambient sound that we put in because nothing was really going on, and we killed it when we heard that thing in the distance. But it was so quiet. Our microphones, our lab mics, were picking up stuff that they don't normally pick up. Cloth brushing,
and it was
strap from my backpack.
Yeah,
my beard was hitting either my chest rig or something, and it occasionally sounded like whispering.
Yeah, so that's nothing paranormal.
Nothing paranormal, but we were just like, this is going to drive people nuts, and it's just going to be there. So, but we didn't want to cut that audio out because it was important. So we rarely do stuff like that. We do music in the beginning, music in the end, but we just put a little hum up there to like ambient sound. But trust me, if we hadn't had it in there, then there would have been people going, I just heard a whisper. Did anyone? No, that's not a whisper.
But we're not doing like the Expedition Bigfoot where somebody turns and goes, dun, dun.
Yeah, no, we needed to have that in, but it was going to cause more problems. It was so quiet, man.
Yeah, it was very weird.
Again, our lab mics usually don't pick up weird stuff like that. And I'm assuming that's what that was, like my beard, because my beard was a little shaggy, like hitting my chest rig or something like that. But it would almost sound like, I guess normally it's like just, there's other stuff going on. You don't hear it. But with this, I'm going, my God, people are going to think that like we've got like spirits follow us around whispering all the time. But
Lady Wolf asked, by the way, how is the Rock? He's thriving.
Rock is outside getting a little rain right now. Getting a little rain.
Joe's so mad at Rock. You know what? Maybe that's what happened. We rejected Rock.
Cursed by the Rock.
Cursed. We got to bring him in, put him in the bed.
Cursed by the Rock. But yeah, so the hum's not weird. The insanely just overpowering silence was weird.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll have to I don't know, man. I mean, we got our lab set up so that way if we whisper, it'll still pick it up. But then if there's no breeze or birds or just anything going on, I guess they're up too much. I don't know, man.
Yeah. So. Stephen Taylor asked, what about the little woven structure thing? We have all these spots. I had Joe mark them all on the GPS. So when we do decide to return, we want to return during the day and really check that out. Check out that thing and get good footage of it. It's weird. It is I don't know. It was odd because there was no other thick woven type structure there. There were open spots. There was brambles everywhere.
But it
wasn't in that like concentration. And that's why it reminded me of what we found at the LBL, but not quite as large. Like what we found at the LBL at Station 16 was bigger.
But it
was kind of made out of larger material as well.
It was stuff that had been moved and then kind of put in, but it didn't fall because there's brambles and thorns on the outside. I mean, how did it get through that? It was brought in and put there, and then it was like kind of hollow in the middle. And that's why deers don't have hands.
Deers don't have hands, Joe.
But I don't know. You know what? When we go back in there, we might look at it and go, oh, that's what that is. But it looked as if something had made a little shelter, not necessarily from the elements, but maybe from being seen or to maybe, but if it's supernatural, why does it need to bed down anywhere? I don't know. All I have is questions. I have no answers for you, any of you at this point. All right.
Switching of selves. Are we doing that? Are we having a Freaky Friday?
A Freaky Friday there. So
you wouldn't last a day in here.
Nathan, you're being soft. I remember. So yeah, it's Roberta talks about, I hope I can meet y'all someday. I have a funny story relating to the sound Joe was talking about. So I don't know. I don't know at the end of this, that everything capped on this investigation with the vocalizations that we caught. I don't know what they are. You know what I'm saying? We sat and listened to, they're definitely not coyotes. They weren't barred owls, because we hear barred owls all the time. And we'd heard barred owls earlier. We listened to screech owls, barn owls, great horned owls, just all of this stuff to see if it was anything like that. It wasn't an owl, and it was deep. It had power. It echoed. It had a set of lungs, whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? And to me, I don't know, man. They're saying like Wolfman, but maybe they're just seeing something big and hairy out there, like a big hairy upright thing. Because this was like between like a whoop,
the echo was crazy.
And like a moan.
Yeah.
And it even seemed like it echoed more than what you would expect it to echo. I don't know, man.
And you received the biggest, most aggressive shushing of your life.
I did. That was King Shush there.
Go Bills. Mentioned this earlier. Unknown grave markers scream relocated native burial mound. God, I hope not.
And what's weird is that some of them were numbered, others weren't numbered. All of them had unknown. I guarantee you that there's some under the leaves there.
Yeah. Well, we found a couple of messed up, like
the posts without the signs.
The signs.
So, and again, whatever the cause was for that put those poor people there, I don't know.
I don't know either. So we wrapped this up very recently. So we have not had the opportunity to dig further, interview anybody, get in contact with anybody. We're going to do that. That's on the agenda.
We did try to talk to. Can I talk about that?
If you want to.
Tried to talk to a lady working the closest town, if you want to call it that. Not even like a one-stop-light town. Very, very small collection of like clustering of buildings.
It was like a buckshot stop sign type town.
So we went into where she was working at and kind of like broached the subject with her, and she was just not like, oh, we can't talk about that here. Just completely just did not want to talk to us. And you know what? It might have been that she was off work in like 15 minutes and she just didn't want to deal with the dumbasses that had come in asking weird questions. Who knows? You know
Jerry Jones. Thank you, sir.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones.
1993.
Thank you, Jerry Jones.
Go on, Joseph.
So we're going to keep going through there. But
the gal.
The gal, what about her?
Yeah,
I said she didn't want to talk to us.
Oh, I thought there was more to this.
No, she just didn't want to talk to us.
She was grumpy, dude.
She's grumpy. And I'm going, is it the subject matter or is it just the fact that she's at work and just because we all know how it is to be at work and start getting asked like dumbass questions. You know what I'm saying? So
she just wanted me to buy that hot sausage.
Take your hot sausage and get out of the gas station, lady.
Number one, she was disturbed. I was eating multiple types of hot
That's
sausage.
probably what shut her out.
And the fact that I was purchasing apple Gatorade. A lot of people hate that green apple Gatorade with a passion.
40 in Tennessee says we currently have 15 spots left at the camp out. I will share that link again. Matter of fact, I'll share it.
I'm going to throw that
twice
into the description of the episode. So if you guys want to get tickets for that, you can go into the description of the episode and the link for the event will be there. You can purchase tickets to the April campout. It's be a lot of fun.
Oh, so I don't know. I don't know what the vocalizations are. I hope it is not whales in the woods. What do you got?
KM Kosler said La Lacusa, the owl witch. God, I hope not on that.
To me, I don't know, man. Like a hoot does not sound like a hoot. It sounded like a whoop and like a I don't know, man.
This is an interesting point from Overlanding Cryptids. Do you think like an LBL effect is possible? It seems like places that change hands and they get abandoned equal chaos.
Yes.
Perhaps there's some sort of stewardship that is required for a place like that. And then over the years, that process and the necessities and the requirements of the stewardship of those highly charged places goes by the wayside, gets abandoned, people are prevented from doing what they need to do. Maybe that's what happens.
I think definitely that's what happens. And we talked about this in Blackthorn. One of two things is going on here. Either the weird activity is already there, and that's why these places get kind of just left alone. Okay. Several cases we see it where it was like private land and it's bought and turned public land and then nothing's done with it. And I'm going, okay, was that because there's weird stuff going on here? Or was it just a regular old piece of land before this? And then it's left alone, forgotten, whatever you want to call it, because of mundane reasons, budget cuts. Just maybe there's some sort of environmental thing. We can't use it the way we thought we were going to use it. Just it ain't going anywhere. So let's leave it alone. And then because it's abandoned, that's when the weird stuff moves in. Yeah. I don't know. But I will tell you that old cemeteries, old settlements, old homesteads, if we're in an area nowadays just scouting in the woods and we start seeing the lay of the land suggests that there were homesteads there, we get excited because those are the hot spots. Those are the areas that you find.
Yeah, over the years, we've kind of developed a profile of these areas that seem to have heightened activity. And I guess that's through just experience of going out here and just investigating so many different areas that have so many commonalities. There are so many things that kind of check off this list of, you get reports of this activity is going on out here. And then you go to the area and then you start to see these things start to fill in, you start to fill in the gaps that, okay, so this was a place that had homesteads. This is a place that was maybe seized at one point in time. You maybe had some sort of native population there that was taken off the land. It's all of that. And it seems like a lot of this stuff at the end of the day is rooted in human misery. And I know through much of human history, a lot of human existence was rooted in human misery. Life is hard. Life has always been very hard. Through difficulties we have made it through as a species. Living is hard. Surviving is hard. So that's part of it. But it seems like these are places that have an extra level of human misery. And maybe that element, maybe that energy, maybe that contributes to attracting or feeding or, ushering through this kind of activity. Yeah.
Daniel Hamilton. Congrats, Joe. Your episode on my channel, The Cryptid Podcast, is the 4th most popular episode ever. Thanks for coming on. Episode 113. It was good talking, just hanging out and talking to you, my man. Good hanging out and talking to you. We will throw the link up there. If anybody wants to go over and check out our conversation, had an awesome time talking to you. Thank you so much.
HGMC said, I wonder if all the people living around that forest are always grumpy and short-tempered without knowing why. The girl at the store was.
Yeah, the girl at the store was, and we've been grumpy and tired. I'm tired, man. I mean, like I said, and this was not as physically demanding as a lot of the stuff as we do.
We didn't have that elevation factor quite as much.
Yeah, I mean, we did miles. We did a lot of miles, but it wasn't like mountainous miles. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing that always gets me too, is like, we'll have been out there for like 12 hours, like hiking, and we're like winded, and people will be like in the chats going, oh, you guys need to get some exercise. You're breathing a little too heavy. Do you know what I do then?
Tell them to get.
What? Tell them to what? So anyway, our buddy BMR, look at this. Advertising dollars right there. BMR. All right, go over and check out BMR's show after we're done here. We'll probably be in the chat.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up.
Thank you, my man.
Shortly, and then BMR
we're probably gonna leave
probably
gonna wrap up a few minutes odd.
Sue Powell asked, "Will you film the camp?"
We will.
It depends.
Depends.
We are gonna be there with a purpose. We are gonna be there, and we are gonna be focusing mainly on the attendees and what we're doing and all the fun stuff we're gonna get up to. And I know I keep saying this, the fellowship. I like the fellowship. I like hanging around with everybody and seeing everybody. The gang's getting back together. We might film some stuff, but we're not gonna film everything. If you want to be a part of the event, come out to the event. We might do this another year, so there might be another opportunity to come to that event. But we might film some of it, you know, we'll do a little bit in peace.
Our buddy Sam Burton, I find it odd that you all have said repeatedly that there aren't reports from South Carolina, and yet some of the weirdest places in America. They're a very dramatic difference. There's not reports from here because people don't talk here. We have been looking into, they don't talk. And that's pretty much commonplace throughout the South. And if you look, I always challenge people, look at like any sort of like Bigfoot reporting map type thing you got going on. Bunch in North Carolina, bunch in Georgia, South Carolina right in there in the middle, next to nothing. And I'm going, it's not the lack of activity, it's the lack of people being willing to speak about it. A lot of these areas have a very rich like oral tradition as far as like passing like stories like that down. And sometimes that runs very counter to online culture and going onto some website and filing a report. And then especially after the Bigfoot sighting in Newberry, South Carolina last year around November, so many like TikTokers and like just, you know, people that wanted to be Bigfoot hunters descended upon that area after that story went viral. It ruined hunting season. It ticked a lot of locals off. So I can guarantee you right now, you're probably not getting any more. A Bigfoot could walk through town square and people are not going to be reporting it publicly. So that's the culture of the people. That's not indicative of the lack of weird activity.
Oh, Angel Martin said her husband kind of explained to what happened with that graveyard, that what possibly could have happened to it. Mm-hmm. And this is very interesting too. By the time somebody came to preserve the gravesite, the names were already gone, likely wooden markers originally, and someone marked them about.
But we find older like cemeteries, you know what I'm saying? Very old cemeteries. There's no shortage of rock up in that area. What would keep them from using the shaped stone like we see everywhere else?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, again, I don't know.
It's a possibility.
Somebody had said that it was like where they had relocated bodies, I guess, from somewhere else to there. Mm-hmm. And they didn't know what bodies they were relocating. That would bring a bunch of psychic baggage with it. You know what I'm saying? Sure. You've been uprooted from your final resting place and then buried in an unmarked grave. And then you repeat that, you know.
Roberta has an interesting point here. It occurs to me that there are multiple things going on in that property and that Granny knows more than she can
say. Granny she used the term, we put catamount in the video, right?
Yeah.
Okay. She called it a catamount, which you hear that occasionally in the South in relation to big cats, either regular like mountain lions.
Western Carolina University's mascot is a catamount, and
their really?
Mascot is a large mountain lion.
So you hear it like that occasionally. It's an old term for mountain lion. More rarely than that, you'll hear people use it to describe Bigfoot, a catamount. And then even rarer and older, it's used as kind of a catch-all phrase for anything generally kind of upright. Okay. Kind of like they used boogeyman type. It's a generic phrase for something weird, like a monster, basically. She used another term that I didn't understand what she was saying at first because it was mispronounced a little bit. And if Bonnie Blue McGee's in here, because I kind of traded some notes with her. And Bonnie, if you're in here, don't say what the word is. Let me finish this.
Go ahead, go.
And I didn't understand what she was saying at first, but then I realized that it was being mispronounced. But you see that, especially with folklore from Europe, you know, the Scots, the Irish, the German, the Welsh, everybody like comes over here and settles. And the stories get passed along over time, but they're isolated and they're cut off from, like, you know, the homeland. And you start to see some variances in how things are pronounced, especially when people hear stories when they're young, maybe from a grandparent, and then the grandparent dies, and then they don't really think about it or talk about it until years later when they're either describing the same activity or passing the story down along. You see pronunciations get butchered. And as soon as I realized what she was basically calling it, what she said, and again, hearing it secondhand, her grandmother might have pronounced it properly, and the granddaughter was butchering it when she was saying it, but she was using a term from folklore that was used to describe a wolf-like creature as well. But that's something that you don't really hear that often.
Yeah.
So I got a feeling Granny's like really in the mix there. Granny kind of knows. I don't know.
You want a wild ass theory?
Throw me a wild ass. By the way, did we tell people that's WAT is the new thing?
WAT, baby.
WAT. W-A-T. Wild ass theory.
If you got a WAT.
Give me a WAT. What do you got?
Give me a WAT.
What do you got?
You want a wild ass theory?
Give me a wild ass theory. I already know what you're gonna say. Is
No,
this from you? Is this from you?
No, this is my wild ass theory.
Okay. I know. Can I tell you? Can I tell you? And you'll tell me if I guess right?
Yeah, I'm never allowed to speak.
That the
Go ahead.
Granny is the Wolfman.
No.
Okay, I figured that's what you would
No,
say.
Granny's the big bad wolf. Is that it? Little Red Riding Hood?
That's what I figured you were going to say.
No. Are you ready for my wild ass theory or not?
Give me a wild ass theory.
Granny watches the show. Granny's a big fan. Granny actually saw a cat man running through the woods, and she contacted us going, "That's a cat I'd mount."
How much longer do we have on the stamp show so we can wrap it up? Good God Almighty.
Told you it was a wild ass theory.
It's the wildest theories. Jesus Christ. Anyway.
That is a WAT. I love it. Just wow.
I didn't know this. Even Doc Holliday's grave was moved, and they still aren't sure where he is. There's a marker there, but it's admitted that he's not there. And again, I'm being
told to go stand in the corner.
We're not. This is already a weird thing. We ain't trying to make it any weirder than it already is. You know what I'm saying? There is probably a extremely mundane answer for that large, like, unmarked cemetery with, like, unknown. I mean, it's marked technically, the unknown cemetery, whatever you want to call it. For heavens forbid, don't call it a mass grave. But it's the fact that it's not on the maps. Nobody has talked about it in relation to that. And just to stumble across it because of the way we had to come, and then just to go, what the hell? I mean, it just, come on, man. That don't happen every day. You know what I'm saying? So.
You don't think that Granny saw a naked cat man?
No, I don't think Granny saw a naked cat man. I don't think that at all. Angel Hood, thank you for that, Angel. We likely crossed tons of graves marked with wooden crosses that we never realized because the wood rotted away. We only see the stone ones. Wood markers. Hastings once plague or war, perhaps. That might have been a yellow fever outbreak. That area is old. I'm not going to go.
Taylor said, "Do you think it could be a slave graveyard?" Yeah,
possibly. It very possibly could be. We know that there's slave cemeteries in certain areas, and I don't know. Possibly. I mean, we're going to keep digging into it after we get a little rest. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up here in about 3 minutes or 4 minutes.
I think I took the wheels off the show.
I think the Catman thing just kind of got, yeah.
I hope he's doing okay.
I wish I could find Catman. We're talking about naked Catman. There was a guy who was all up on the fake LBL dude's channel.
Yeah.
Who showed up on our channel claiming that we had been arrested for faking Bigfoot evidence, that the Park Service had arrested us.
Right.
And I'm going, A, something like that would get around.
Committing Bigfoot crimes.
Committing Bigfoot. I've got a good Bigfoot lawyer. Thank you. God, we joked about that for days.
Got a lot of mileage out of Naked Cat Man.
Yeah, we got a lot of mileage out of Naked Cat Man. But he was naked in one of his photos. He was naked wearing like a cat mask, like a, not even like a good like rubber one, but just like a paper cat mask. I don't know if it was like a weird like some kind of sexual, what it was.
Some eyes wide shut stuff.
It was some eyes wide shut stuff. Anyway, we mocked him, made fun of him, and everybody like had such a good time with it. I don't know how to find him now. I can't remember what his channel name was. We didn't invite him on the show. Only if he was
willing to be naked with the cat mask.
And we would have the camera from here up. We would take his word that he was naked with the cat mask. So
we believe you, Catman.
We believe you, Catman. Somebody goes, because that's definitely a federal crime. That's prescribed. Yeah, we had been arrested for faking by the Park Service, I think, for faking Bigfoot evidence. And I'm going,
I thought this was America.
I think they got other stuff to worry about. And then B, that's such a weird story. That would be like everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention you would just be able to Google, you know.
Good night, Miranda.
People arrested for faking Bigfoot evidence, you know, and when Google got done laughing at you. Anyway. Jesus.
We've had a good
I am gonna wrap it up here, and I think Jessica's
I think we're gonna wrap it up. I think that's good. I
think we've done our job here. You might, I don't know how the rest of the week is gonna go here for us. You might see us again. You might not see us again.
That's ominous.
Well, I know. I mean, I'm not talking about permanently. I'm talking about like
Bristol. Been around for 23 months. Y'all have a happy Halloween. We still haven't been back to that settlement where City Boy originated. Oh, yeah. God, are we mentally, physically, and spiritually ready to do that again?
I think at this point, I think after this, once I get like my second win back, I think we're down for pretty much anything at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Down for it.
Anyway. All right. We are done. I'm going to say happy Halloween to all of you all, just in case you don't see us this week. You never know. Keep your notifications on. Make sure your notifications on. Make sure you're still subscribed.
Definitely you guys be safe this Halloween. Halloween is on Friday. Be safe. Give out some good candy to some good kids. But most of all, be safe. Watch out. You know, mischief gets going around this time of year.
No mischief.
Obviously some spiritual mischief gets up and down too. We're gonna reset a little bit. I think we definitely need to. Yeah. And then I'm ready to do some Bigfoot. And, you know?
I want to do some I want to walk away from all this dark weirdness and just do some classic Bigfootery.
I'm ready for it.
Classic Bigfootery. Our buddy Rick Skinner, member for 14 months. Rick, you the man.
Ricky.
So
hope you're doing well, my friend. But thank you guys for joining us. We're gonna go eat some chili.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go eat some chili,
and then we're going to bed.
We're going to bed. Yeah, it's been a day and a half.
Yeah. So we love y'all. Have a good evening.
Thank you all. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And don't forget Bigfoot, Michigan Rob, going live. See y'all later.
Later.